Hey, hey, hey. How you doing, Scott?
Hey, how's it going, Charlie?
Okay.
All right.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Really Charlie podcast. And today's guest is Scott Pemberton, candidate for Councilor At-Large for the City of New Bedford, Mass. And he's going to tell us why he's a good candidate for a council seat. So, how you doing, Scott?
Hey, I'm doing good. First of all, I just want to apologize for the delay here, but we got it
No,
going.
yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
No worries. No need to explain. We're live now, so now we can just go ahead and get down to business. Okay.
All right. That sounds good to me, man.
All right. So I tried to adjust the background as much as I could, but sometimes what happens when you're getting still pictures, they only stay a certain size. So
Right.
and the other one I had was it was cutting off your name, so I didn't want to do that one. So
Yeah. No problem.
all right. So this is from what I know, this is your second time around running for a seat, a council
Well,
seat.
right. It's actually well, it's the third time, um, but the first two times was for the same seat, was for Ward 2. This time it's, at large.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
And
in the first, I'm sorry, go ahead, Charlie.
no, go ahead.
Right. So, like I said, so the first time was in 1999. It was Ward 2. It was against Paul Kazera, who was the incumbent at the time. And he was in there for a while. And if I remember, uh, see, I think there was like four of us that ran that year, and it was 1999. So out of that four, I did make it to the finals as the top two. Uh, but as you know, first time running, sometimes it gets hard to beat the incumbent. Um, and then you also learn things that you could have done better. The mistakes that you did along the way. Um, for me, I could have probably put myself out there a lot more, which is what I'm definitely doing now. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, I know some people came out earlier, but they announced earlier. But let me tell you, my campaign was running like maybe 2 years ago. As you know, I was in Florida for the last 10 years with some doing some work out there. Um, I've been into the restaurant management, and what I used to do is um, take stores that were at a low performance and bring them back up again. So I used to, help underperforming stores, and I enjoyed that a lot. So that was one of the reasons why I had left to try that career on. Um, so when I came back, it's been 10 years, and now that I came back because of my mom, she had some a couple of surgeries. She had lost her husband, so didn't want to have her be alone anymore. Uh, but like I said, when I came back, looked around in the city, and I'm like, wow, some of the things just didn't change after the 10 years. And some of the things that I was talking about in 1999, and then again in 2007 when I ran again for Ward 2. So right then and then I knew what I was going to do again. And so I started talking to people again, started talking to my friends. They even asked, hey, I was going to get into the political aspect again. And I said, I sure am, and I explained to them, what I was gone. And when I came back, of things that I've seen just wasn't getting done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's the craziest thing is that you could see that, and thousands of other people could see that. That the changes are not being done. So what that tells me as a resident is that people are comfortable. They're very comfortable with their titles. They're very comfortable of what they're doing, and they just expect to win all the time.
Exactly.
So and 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 being comfortable is not good. And that's why I
No.
always suggest term limits. Term limits are very important
Right.
to me, only because people just for that fact that people get comfortable, and
Yep. They
it's
do. And I can even tell you because when I ran again in 2007, I did enter the race a little late, but I also was a little bit comfortable, and I'll tell you why. Because
yep.
I ran once before, You know, and I figured I ran before I knew people and all that. That doesn't mean anything. You know, you got to get
Yeah,
out there and you got to, you know, you basically have to sell yourself is what it is. And I entered, you know, like I said, in 2007, I entered that race late. And so you're right. People get comfortable, you know, but we have some good counselors on there. I'm not going to take it, you know, that away from some of them. Uh, you know, and it
yeah,
is, you know, but you know, it could use some nice, fresh, clean blood up there. We all know that there's definitely going to be one seat open, but the way I look at it is they're all open. Every
yeah,
single person is vulnerable. But then we also, you know, deep down, I also know that you know there'll be two or three of them who's going to be a slide in. Um, but again, like I said, it's all seats are all open. Anything can always happen.
exactly. Um, the one thing that I liked about it is meeting and greeting people and talking to them and trying to assure them that I have their best interests. And so you said your campaign started a whole lot earlier this time, and what are some of the things that you've been doing?
Well, like I said, most of the things was you know getting out there and just talking to people, you know, and seeing what changes they like and what they want to see done. You know, just letting people know that I'm running out there again and that I'm interested, you know, in what they believe in, what they're interested in. I'm one of them. I'm just like them. You know, I was born and raised here in New Bedford. Um, you know, didn't come from any rich family or anything like that. You know, and I worked very hard to do what I do. Um, you know, and I enjoy talking to people. You know, in my 35 years in the restaurant business, it's basically what I did. Is you work with customers, customer service, and when you're a city councilor, it's just like being customer service because you serve for the people of New Bedford. They're your guests, they're your customers that you work for. You know, so if they have a problem, you know, they're calling you up. You want to be sympathetic. You want to listen to them. You know, apologize if it's anything you have to. You know, thank them for bringing that attention to you. You know, and then let them know that you're going to get back to them and you're going to work on that. You know, you want to solve the issue what they're bringing to you. You know, and I call that the last, and it's something that I've learned in being into the restaurant business. You know, you listen, you apologize, you think, and you solve, and then you thank them again for bringing it back
Mm,
to your attention again. And
exactly.
that's some of the things that's what I will use on a table because it's the same thing. It's no difference. You're in customer service, you're customer service. You're dealing with people, you know, you listen to people, people have problems, you know, they want this, that, you know. So in the 35 years, that's what I've done. And like I said, I came in and took underperforming stores and made them to performing stores again. You know, they used to have some sales and things like that, and they were performing at a 4%. So when I took over the store, they went from 4% to a 50% and up to a 52. So
Good.
yeah, it's all got to do with budgeting, and it's the same.
It is, and you gotta um you just gotta keep on doing what you're doing, keep plugging away, keep actually meeting and greeting people because every vote counts. And I
Oh
try to
yes,
tell people all the time that register to vote and cast your vote.
right.
Every vote counts. And locally people, this is usually a small amount of people that come out and vote.
Right,
And
especially in the city's election, and there's no mayor election this year, so that's going to be, you know, a little tougher getting the people out there. But you know, we gotta let them know. You know, people always they want change, they want change, they want change. Well, they got to get out there and vote to make the change happen. They're
so
not gonna make change happen. You know, and I understand some people sometimes you get stuck in your ways. You don't want changes. A lot of people don't like changes. Let's face it, nobody likes changes. But you know, we're already in the year 2021. You know, things move on. You got to make changes. You know, and it's exactly like I tell people in the workplace. You know, everybody's always doing the same thing over and over. I say, okay, well, we're going to change this. Well, why? Well, because this don't work anymore. So we need to try this. You know, you got to get something that's going to work and make it work and then stick to it.
I mean, in your opinion, when when you see the same construction crews on the same street week after week, year after year, decade after decade, then who do we blame for that? Who do we blame for that construction of that same exact street
Well,
constantly over and over and over again?
one of the things that I've been saying, it's basically the city. We have to take ownership. We as a city have to take ownership of what's getting done. We have to. You have to lead by example. If you have a crew that's out there and they're working out the streets, I mean that's what you have your infrastructure for. They go back and they should be able to make sure that the work got done that was supposed to. If not, you call back the company, you tell them to get back there, and they have to fix what it is that they didn't fix or make it correct.
There's every year for a long time, taxes
But
have
it
been
is,
going up.
and they don't maintain. You have to maintain.
Okay. So if taxes keep going up, and that's the outcry of the city about taxes, especially home ownership. They continue to ask about, why is it constantly going up? Why are we at the highest rate in the Commonwealth? And a lot of times it's just the state, saying, hey, the towns and cities and towns have to contribute to the state budget. I get all that. But it shouldn't be an increase for the past. Let me see. I can count at least 6 years right now.
Yeah, at least six.
And I'm pretty sure it's a whole lot further than that. So, all right. So, Mr. Pemberton, tell our audience why you're a good candidate for City Council at large.
Well, and again, just like I've been saying in previous, I ran in 1999. I believe in this city. We have a great city, but we just, like I said, we have to maintain the things that we do. And we add, parks into it, but then we don't maintain the parks, like the pocket parks, and they get out of hand. And then that's why you have people hanging around and loitering because they don't maintain it. They don't take care of it. They just put up there to satisfy the people in the first place, and that's basically what that was put up there for, because we all know, people were complaining about that, so they figure, hey, let's do this pocket park and make it all pretty, but you have to maintain it, I think it may be a good idea that we can maybe look into it and sell it off to local business, put in a parking lot, maybe we can put in meters. It's extra revenue for if you put in some meters and making that money. And if I get elected, that's one of the things I'm going to work on is revenue, getting small businesses in, especially up on the avenue. When I ran in the first time, there was supposed to be this whole North End renovation project going on. What happened to it? Was it up in Boston? It stood on the desk up there in Boston, and nobody pushed the idea down here about renovating it. We get grants, but we take care of downtown. Downtown is not the only place in New Bedford. If you want to bring tourists, well, you have to make the avenue look better. Even the South End as it goes. We have businesses down there too. It's just not downtown. We have to take care of the city as one and as a whole.
A lot of that revenue for downtown and Route 18, that new construction and the new curbing and all that, that goes back. That was money that was coming back, and it's from my source, very reliable, that money was coming back since the administration of Mayor Kayla's. It
Right.
just happened to be used during the campaign, during the last campaign of Mayor Mitchell. It looked like something was getting done, but
Right.
people that are in it inside and people that are paying attention to things know that money was federal money that was just sitting somewhere, and it was just utilized at that particular year. I one thing that I mentioned this to a couple of other councilors that are running, and one of the things that my pet peeve is is the parking violations. Parking violations are getting issued, throughout the city, but the city in itself is not. The construction of the city, it's thickly settled. Uh, there's either driveways or no driveways. There's either driveways on one side or the other. But the bottom line is that these are multi-dwelling houses. So when multi-dwelling houses, it means they're going to have a multitude of people from each house, each apartment driving their cars. Where do they park? And if you go up each street, a violation is 5 feet from a driveway. Another violation is 20 feet from a curb. Another violation is 6 inches from a curb. And it goes on. That laundry list is big. And it's so big. So when every resident on that block decides to park on that block, everyone's in violation other than the person that's in the driveway.
Right.
And so firsthand that you can go up and down any street in the city and you could tag a lot of people, and the revenue it's a monopoly. I don't call it a revenue, it's a monopoly, because you're nickel and diamond, and you're picking when you can decide when you're gonna go ahead and aggressively start giving people tickets.
Right.
And I think that parking book needs to be revamped, amended to maybe a couple of things in there, compared to the 10 to 15 things that are on there.
Right.
Because it's,
But, as a city council, that's what I would go to the traffic commission and go to them and say, look, what can we do to make some of these changes? We have to double check, and we have to look at some of these areas, with the parking, like you were saying, and like you said, everybody is in violation. That needs to be taken looked at.
So true. What's Scott Pemberton's next event? What are you trying to do?
I got some prints going on. I'm going to be doing some door-to-doors. I got my signs already made. I have to say, I was actually kind of at an advantage, because where I ran, I still had a lot of my things from my campaign from the previous years. So that's helped me a lot. And that's why I concentrated in the beginning more on just talking to the people, because I wasn't worried about any signs or any other thing, because I knew that I had some things already. It needed a little bit of touch up, a little bit of fixing, which we've done. So that's what's next. I'm planning on doing a couple of fundraisers. I will let people know that on Facebook. It's going to be all, make sure, because with this COVID going on, I don't want any large groups going on. I don't want to be responsible for anybody getting COVID because they were at a Pemberton function, So I'm keeping that in mind, and but there will be a couple of functions going on where it's going to be social distancing. And just again, I've always been into politics ever since I was a kid. My mom used to help out with a lot of the candidates, and it first started off with my aunt, Geraldine Gomes, who you probably may know, and she also was the first minority woman to run for a city council seat here in New Bedford.
Mm-hmm.
Couple of mentors I've had is Tom Kennedy. He doesn't know this. Many people don't. I don't talk about this. And I say Tom Kennedy because when he used to run for Ward 6 councilor, his sister was my teacher at the time, and she used to talk about how he was running and stuff. And so I used to get excited about that. And when it was election time, I remember coming home and listening to the results just to see if I probably got elected. But most recently, the biggest mentor, was the late Fred Kalis. We all know that I kind of worked in the background field of his campaign, and he's taught me a lot. And he's one of the main reasons why I wanted to run again in 1999. I saw what he was doing. I saw he was doing some good things, good things was happening, and I wanted to be a part of that.
Yeah, and you had some good guidance, especially with Matt Kayla's a good dude. He
Yep.
try to do for a lot of people. So
Right.
the there's everyone talks about when you're running, you gotta run. There's steps of running. You gotta be a ward counselor, counselor at large. Then you step up to bigger plateau. Whether it's mayor and state rep or whatever it may be.
Right.
Is this particular stage, this particular level as counselor at large? Is that something you're very comfortable with? Something you want to really?
At this time, for Councilor At-Large is something I am comfortable with. Like I said, I ran for Ward 2 before, but with this open seat, it gave it a wider choice. And I started thinking, instead of just helping in one ward area, now I have a chance to help out the whole city, and not just the one area. Even though ward councils, they do help out within the other city councilors, but it's at large and stuff.
Correct.
But, but at least at large, I really, it's like I said, it's for the whole city, and I'm just about helping people. I love helping people. I think I did get that after my mom. She's just she's an angel as it is. She's always helping everybody and doing things for everybody, and I think that's what I get that from her.
Great woman, and I'll tell your mom I said hello.
I sure will. And just any other thing, I've been out there. I've been out in the streets. I know what the streets are. When I say been in the streets, though, I'm talking about on the good side of the law, not the bad side. And you know that. I also was on the rescue squad. I was a captain on the rescue squad, which is with emergency management. So when it comes to public safety, that's my number one goal, is working with public safety. If I was a city council right now, I would be on the phone in the mayor's office every single day to tell them, no, we cannot decommission Engine 8. We cannot afford to shut down any more stations or engines. We can't do it. I mean, look what happened the other day, and it's ridiculous. And public safety is our priority. We have an obligation for the city of New Bedford, and that's to keep them safe.
And Scott, you're saying that, about, you just don't want the engine shut down. And there's been a few other councilors saying the same thing, but it's still in place, and the mayor's still doing as he thinks he sees fit. He's running the city as an administrator, and that's something that he's been tough on. He's been tough on that, and he's stuck with it. And then there's been some city councilors that are against it. So, with them being against it for all this time and all these years, does that mean that they're not capable of overturning this?
I don't think so. I think they are. But what happens is, they talk about it, and they keep on bothering me about things and bothering. But what happens is it just stops. It just goes away because things become quiet again, and it goes away, and then nobody talks about it anymore. Until when? Until election time.
Well,
you
gotta
stay on top of these things. You have to stay on top.
I try to remind people last year, this year's coming up. It's an election year. Remember what these candidates, not candidates, remember what the politicians are doing and not doing for you. And
Exactly.
if they're not doing anything for you, then you need to hold them accountable this year in 2021.
Yes. Yep.
Instead of saying, all right, I'll give you one more chance.
Right.
And so, I definitely, your platform you said was safety. And I get that. What other things should we know as a voting person? What else should we know about your platform?
Definitely the infrastructure, our roads, sidewalks is just it's just horrible. They I mentioned about when I was gone for 10 years and came back, they did the same thing. Wow, they gotten worse. The city is good for doing one thing, and that's putting band-aids on things. That
Hmm.
only is good for so long, but for so much. But we got to stop putting band-aids on things, and we need to start fixing the things the right way because it's going to cost more money at the long run.
Yeah. I every day I travel up in one of our streets that leads into the town of Dartmouth. And so as I'm in New Bedford and I'm driving along, it's like I'm on a 4x4, you know, and then all of a sudden the road gets smooth and the markings are nice and bright. And I would tell my passenger, say, "Look, we're in Dartmouth. Can't you tell the roads are nice and smooth?"
Right? Yeah. You
And
don't need no sign that says "Welcome to Dartmouth." The pavement tells it
then
all.
yeah, the pavement, the curbing, everything tells it all. You know, and everybody wanted, well, that's a town, this is a city. Guess what? You know what? When you asphalt the road, you do curb to curb and
Yeah,
straighten it out. It's getting sickening.
exactly.
Um, the I'm kind of excited about guys like you running. There's a few other new ones coming up and running, and that's kind of exciting. That's that competitiveness in me, to see that there's some kind of competition. There's going to
Right.
be no one's just going to put a jersey on and get on the court and
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
it's game time. Now I want to see some more people running more, and they're coming out. They're
Oh,
coming
they
out,
sure
and
are. And
and
I
they're gonna.
welcome all of them because, like I said, I've been there before. Um, you know, it's good. It's good for the city. It's good for us. You know, and then the people get to decide. You know,
Yep. The
you know. The only
regardless if someone's running. Go ahead.
what I was gonna
Go
say
ahead,
is,
Scott.
and what I like is I want people to vote on what they on the issues and what they believe in their candidate, not because it's they're popular or because it's their friend or something like that. I mean, of course, we want our friends to vote for us and stuff, but I want my friends and my family to also believe in me, to know that I can do it, and that's what I want the people to do. Not just because, well, I know Scott, he's a good guy, and they vote. No, hear me out. I will be the voice for the people. This is what the people, when they elect somebody, you work for them. It's not what Scott wants. It's not. I'm not looking for anything. I just like helping people. That's why I want to be a city councilor. I want to help the people in New Bedford. I want them to be able to come to me, talk to me. Look, Scott, I have this idea. I want to get them involved as well. I've said that in 1999 when I ran the first time. I said in 1999 I was going to be their voice, and that's the way I'm still running my campaign today, 10 years, 20 years later. You know?
Well, I just want to let you know that in this day and age, you can't be kissing babies now. I don't want you
No.
going and meeting and greeting and kissing babies and all that.
No, those days are over. Not just because of COVID. You just it's just those days. It's your old policy, the old politics. Now
Yeah,
it's getting out there door to door and getting people to know you and selling yourself, let people know why you're the best candidate. And point blank.
God, I got a question for you. I gave it to a couple other candidates, and one of the questions how do you feel about the contract with the lunch aides and the paras? It's definitely it's kind of sad. These are hardworking people, and the time that I was within the school system, they were definitely being called upon left and right. We need a para, we needed this, we need that. The lunch aides, they're working, probably one or two people too, short, this, so what is your stance on that? In their contract as a city councilor, how can you help out those people that are getting paid $11 an hour, which is kind of sad?
Yeah, well, yeah, it really is. I would actually, sit down with the school committee as well too, get them involved. Lunch and aids is, I can remember going to school when I was in high school, especially too. I was always nice with the lunch and aids, and they've always said hi, Scott, and they do. They work. They're there early in the morning. You don't even know sometimes when they're there. Like I said, I know that they go there early in the morning. They're turning on everything, preparing everything. I mean, you got a lot of kids that they're feeding. It's a lot. So definitely, contracts definitely need to be looked at, talked about, renegotiated. Um, I think we're still at an old pay scale. When I say an old pay scale, back then, we're still paying people what we used to pay them back in the 90s, maybe in the 80s. It's gone up maybe a little bit, but not much. We need to look at these contracts individual, and we need to bring up all the wages.
There's talk about the golf course being, renovated and producing, some revenue as far as businesses going in parts of the golf course, and that was talk during in 2017 when I ran, and now it's kind of looks like it's going to go through. How do you feel about that?
Um, I said in the beginning, and I'm saying now, I stick to it. I'm all for that, the industrial park. However, I want to see it done with that 18-hole golf course, though. I don't want to see it with that 9. Cool. I want it with the 18-hole golf course. And again, like I said, I'm for it. The city needs revenue. We are hurting as a city. It's going to help. I mean, we have to. That's what happens. We always say no. We say no. We say no. We say no. We say no. And we put ourselves in this big hole, and we try to dig ourselves out of it, and we can't, because the hole just keeps on getting bigger and bigger and bigger. As you know, it's talked about before in WBSM, where they had one of the schools they could have sold, but the residents didn't want it because of the parking. I can understand that, but sometimes, as a city councilor, like I said, I've always said that I want to work for the people. I want what they want. Sometimes you have to try to convince them that we need to make some changes. We need changes. That Phillips School would have been a perfect example. Yes, the residents didn't want it because of the parking and stuff, but it hurt the city in the long run because it could have been revenue for us.
So true. The now you got that the parcel company coming up, which is on Church Street. That's a hairy subject. As far as those residents up there, they just don't want no. They don't want that pollution in the area. They just don't want to have it there. So they talk about the real estate going down in their area for their properties. So,
but they're still building down that way. That's what they talk about their property going down, but they're still building. You see them still building properties. I mean, yes, you got to kind of feel sorry for the residents down there, because when they bought the property, they didn't know what they were gonna. They didn't know that the apparel product was going to come with their deal. And it gets tough, and that's where it does get tough. It gets really hairy because, again, we need the revenue.
Yeah.
I know they complain because of the odor that comes from there and all that stuff and the pollution. Is there a way that we can work on that, and maybe we can kind of control that, and maybe some kind of happy medium way? I don't know. We need to look into that. But we just can't say no. You can't come in. Because we have to look at the money. It's the bottom line is revenue, and it's going to help.
Well,
You know,
it's
I mean, right now we got to. I'd say whatever we can get for money right now to keep the city afloat.
that's definitely that's a touchy situation up there, and you know, definitely look into it. It's very touchy. A lot of residents out there
Oh yeah,
voicing their opinion all over, whether it's on the
yes,
radio, whether it's on
yeah.
social media. It's all over. So there's some
Oh yeah,
concerned residents, and but that's for you to check out. And but I also wanted to bring that up. The the other thing is double whammy in that area is the railroad.
right,
Railroads coming. You see all the different construction. They're definitely preparing to make sure that everything's in place. Um, I was always a strong advocate for the railroad only because it's something that's needed. It's something that was here. Just like everything that was here got taken away.
right,
And the ferry was here on a routine basis, got taken away for decades, and then now all of a sudden now we got a fast ferry.
right,
Um, the railroad was always here. Supposedly 195 was going to be this uh, something that was going to help us out. Bottom line, it never helped us out. And
right.
but I like the railroad, and it will be good that some residents could kind of hop on a train and go get a job in all parts of the Massachusetts if they wanted to.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Especially these days that those highways we going up 140, 24. It's horrible, horrible. I know I get nervous driving because you hear about there's a fatality this day, the fatality this day. Just the other day they had a car roll over again. On 140. At least with the train, you can be a little safer. You don't have to worry about all that traffic.
And we had a couple of house fires in the city, and fire department did an extreme great job with it. Trying to help out and save some lives, and we didn't lose anybody, which is good.
Let
Um,
me tell you something. Like I said on Facebook the other day, this city has such the greatest firefighters that any city can have. They just
yeah,
do a remarkable job. I mean, in that one picture when I'm saving that guy, there's 1,000 words right there that tells you what they do.
now,
You know, it's to see Agent 8 go. It's going to be a sad, sad day.
what about EMS? EMS is having their own struggles too.
Yeah, let me tell you, I listen to the scanner just about every day. Um, but I also know what's going on since '89, and again being on the rescue squad and then being the police officer myself. Uh, EMS has always been kind of short-handed at times, but not like it is today. We definitely need that fourth ambulance on at all times. I mean, just the other day at the fire, they had all the ambulance at the fire scene, and then they had medic two had to go all the way to Rhode Island, to bring the gentleman to there. So now
Yep.
we're down one ambulance. Now they're at the fire. Let's say if another fire broke out or a bad accident or some kind of industrial accident, you know, we need to have that fourth EMS. Um, I can't see why they shouldn't be because I know that they will also kind of make their own money because they do charge their own patients. When they take them. So when they go to a call, you take them in there. You're getting charged for that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of money if you add it up. I know it goes into a general fund, but what are they doing with that? I mean, and I'm not saying this is EMS. You know what I mean? I'd like to sit down with them and see what they have in that general fund. I mean, can they afford another ambulance from the general fund? Can they not touch that for some reasons? Or Are they being told not to by the mayor, or is the mayor holding them back?
EMS creates millions of dollars.
Yes,
So if they're creating millions of dollars, guess what? You know, it could be more money if they have more apparatuses, more staffing, you know,
exactly.
and all that costs money, you know.
Yes,
But guess what? The bottom line is the 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 money that's being produced just by the EMS services is tremendous. It's
no,
millions.
exactly. I know that's because yeah,
So and I mean, how much of the towns, the local towns, are helping us out. You know, we need that support. We got to call them to come in to take care of a call here or there for us. You know, that can reverse itself. If we have a lot of apparatus, we can kind of go to the towns and help them out. You know,
exactly.
so and they so there's there's a lot of ways of looking at it, and
Yep,
so
yep,
uh,
absolutely.
let's see, Scott. What do we? I want to leave this part open for you. You know, you want to talk about something between you and I
Um,
and the audience. I want everybody to
well,
share this live.
I know like some of the issues. I listen to BSM a lot, so you know what a lot of the issues are. You hear what some of the people are saying. So let's talk about the shot spotter, for instance. And I'll tell you what I believe in. I think we should get rid of the thing. I think it's wasting the taxpayers' money or the city's money. Um, it's not working. Just the other day, they had it went off. It was two, I think, like two gunshots, but they didn't find anything. So it seems like it goes off when it wants to, and when it should, it doesn't. It's not working. We're spending $142,000, $150,000 a year. There can be two more patrolmen on the streets. Two more. I always say that I think it's better when you have two people out on the streets where it's visible, where people see them and know that they're out there being protected. People feel more safer seeing the law enforcement's out there. You don't see the spot shotters. You don't feel safe that way. Especially now, how can you feel safe? You can't even rely on it. So we need
Yeah,
to get rid of that extra revenue
the
there.
yeah. There's so many things out there that we
Yeah,
and but you gotta be a person that's seeing it. You can't be a person that's ignoring it. And there's a lot of things that people see that are
yeah,
in in high places, but like one of the things we talked about a few years back, me and some of my friends, and we talked about, well, if you approve a budget, all right, stick to that budget. Stick to that budget. If you're giving someone, you know, $500,000 to that's their budget, all right. As a city that's strapped, we got to have everybody stick to those budgets, as best they can, because every time we exceed, we want more. We want it amended. We wanted this. We wanted that. All it does is it just hurts us. It hurts us
exactly.
because we have nothing else to kind of to duplicate that 500 grand that we're giving to another department or so on and so forth. So,
Right.
but and the I don't know. I wish you luck. I wish you a lot of luck, brother. I know you're a good man. I know you're a good candidate.
Thank you. I
I know
appreciate it. That means a lot.
you're a man that's definitely has said what you say what you're gonna say, and you're definitely true to your word. I know that. I've known it long enough that that's the type of candidate and type of man you are, and your whole family is. So
Thank you. I appreciate it. Those words means a lot. And it does. And that's, I mean, I don't want to my own horn, but I think that's the kind of person I am. I mean, I'm running from the heart. This is what I want to do because I know that the city needs a change. They need a good leader. They need somebody that's going to be out there running for them, that's going to be their voice and speaking for them.
yep. And I mean, they're gonna come out, man. They're gonna be ready. I
For
mean, they're
sure.
gonna come. Candidates gonna come out. They're gonna come hooting and hollering. Some people that we may not know, some people we do know.
Right. Yeah.
Um, and all you got to do is concentrate on your game, your A game, and go
Yep.
for it.
Yep. And that's it. I mean, like, I'm not worried about any incumbents. You know, I don't have to worry about the four incumbents, basically, is what I was saying, because we know there's open seat. All I got to do is just get that open seat. So I just got to convince the voters, get myself out there. Um, let people know, why I'm running. This is this. Thank you a lot for this. This helps tremendously. They help me get the word out there. Also, for those who don't know who I am, for those who do know me and just wanted to hear just that little bit more. And this is it. I got as the election, the campaign goes on, there'll be more said. I mean, I don't know how things will work this year with the COVID, between like debates, things like that. But I'm sure we'll work it out. I'm sure we'll figure it out. We'll have some. But like I said, I'm not focused on anybody else. I'm focused on Scott Pemberton. I'm focused on getting myself elected, getting myself to that city council. And that's my main concern, is that and the people.
How do the people in New Bedford get in touch with you? How will we do that?
All right. I'll give you my phone number. It's 508-858-6393. Again, that's 508-858-6393. I also got my Facebook page. And then I have, you can get me on my Facebook, and then you can get the link through my Facebook for my for the Facebook page. So mostly everybody knows. Or you go to Pemberton for NB, and that should bring you right to the link itself.
Pemberton
for NB 2021.
NB 2021.
Yes.
That's in the comments, everyone. It's there, and his number's there. Definitely utilize this man as best you can, and don't feel hesitant to give him a question or two. And and even though you're a candidate right now, people should be able to call you and you act upon something. A lot of times people don't realize that as a city resident, you can act upon things.
Yep. I did it when I ran for Ward 2 for city council. Actually, it was a couple streets over. A neighbor needed something done. She said she had talked to a couple of people and never got done. Or I wasn't in the city council, but I made a phone call and she got her sidewalk done. So I did it, and I was just a resident. I wasn't the city council. So when I am your city council, I will continue down that path and getting things done and making that phone call. And that's all it took. She came to me, picked up the phone, made a phone call. Next day, boom.
There's this app right here. In fact, I advise you, it's my opinion, to put that app, C-Click Fix app, on your phone. Scott, you can have that on your phone. Guess what? A resident tells you something about whatever it may be, curbing, graffiti, whatever it may be.
Right.
Right on this phone right here, you could take care of a lot of problems, because that C-Click Fix app on your phone, you can stand right at the location. You report the problem. Just about 3 weeks ago, I reported some lights that were out along Myrtle Street over there, and now they're operating. They were fixed, and they notify you. They tell you it's working.
Nice.
But you utilize that. I utilized it on the job. It worked for me on the job. It worked for me now as a resident. So put that app on your phone, C-Click Fix. And I mean, every resident should be using it, especially if you have a cell phone. Utilize that, and it's going to probably help you out with a lot of things, because for one, it tells you it tells when it's being fixed, and then it tells you when it's not being fixed.
Oh,
So then
nice.
you can kind of report it again and say, look, this is, and but that's just my little advice to you is
Yeah,
utilize
I
that.
appreciate that. I always take advice. Always room for advice. And it's just like at work. I always tell everybody, you always have room for improvement. Don't think you ever know everything. There's always room to know something. Always room for improvement.
So true. So true. Um, so I'm really excited about this coming election. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for
Again.
some other friends that are running too. It's a great experience, and I suggest that everybody kind of put their hand in the pot, and definitely give it a shot. And in
Oh
this
yeah.
case, this is your third time, so you keep at it,
Oh yeah.
and you'll be all right. Let me see. I just want to let y'all know that this is the Really Charlie podcast brought to you by StreamYard here on Facebook, Spotify, Anchor, YouTube. I'm available for anyone if you have a subject matter that you want to talk about. You want a guest to appear on the show, just let me know. Send me a little message here, and I'll try to get in touch with that guest and get him on here. So, in saying that, Scott, I also want to tell you personally on this live feed that y'all invited to come on here anytime you want.
Sounds
If
good.
this is something you wanna get out there, you may be doing something, an event or whatever. If I can do it, I'll make myself available,
All right.
uh, and we
Sounds
can
good.
do
I'm definitely going to take you up on that offer. I'll be back. I'll be back on the show. All right. Thank you. Yeah, I'll be back.
it. Anytime, man. Anytime. You just continue to do what you're doing, and you'll be all right.
Yep, that's what I'm going to do. I guarantee I'm going to work harder than I did in 1999 into 2007. Like I said, I made it into the finals, and then that was it. But hopefully, it's going to be a different turnout this time. And
Exactly.
that's why I went to all those people. You got to get out there and vote, 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 vote. And then vote Scott Pemberton, your new city councilor.
That's right. And actually, one thing I utilize is my phone is to getting people registered electronically.
Yeah,
You can do that too.
oh, yeah,
And I used to send that link all over the place.
yeah.
Post it on my pages, and but well, you're a good man.
Thank you, Ty. I appreciate that. Right back at you.
All right. Well wishes to you and the family. Well wishes to you and your campaign,
Thank you
and
again.
well wishes always to the city of New Bedford because I know it's dear to me and it's dear to you.
Oh,
And
it sure is.
let,
It really
let's
is.
get it. Let's get it back on track.
Yep. It's that time. 2021.
All right, my brother.
All right.
Continue to follow the podcast, and if you need something shared on the site, you let me know, or just click on the site, and just share it. I'll approve it. All right.
I sure will. All right. I appreciate you. Thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it. Everyone out there listening, I thank you. Thank you again for your continued support, and I hope that we can continue having a relationship. And like I said, call me anytime you have any questions, anything. Please don't hesitate to call. I promise I will get back to you. I'm not going to be that city council that just says, you can call and you ain't going to hear from me. No, I will call you back. I'm going to be your voice. I'm going to work for you. So don't forget, Scott Pemberton, your next city councilor at large.
Awesome. Good message, brother. Good message, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, Charlie. Thank you again.
All right.
Thank you to the city of New Bedford, people, citizens. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Have a good night, brother.
You too, Charlie.
All right.
All right, man.
All right. Scott Pemberton running for Councilor At-Large in the City of New Bedford, Massachusetts. Make sure you're registered and cast your vote. Every vote counts. Don't listen to the myth. Every vote does count. And and I also want to encourage people. You want to vote? I mean, you want to run? Run. Get the papers out, get the signatures, and go ahead and run. But you see how sincere Scott Pemberton was. He's sincere. He wants to work for the city. He wants to work for you, and he wants New Bedford to be a much better place to live. And I think he can do that. I definitely do. I have a lot of confidence in him. So stay tuned tomorrow. We have Destination Soups on air. The owner, Devin Burns, my man, as he says, chef person at Destination Soup, the chef person. So stay tuned tomorrow. We get to see and speak to a New Bedford business owner. He also is a homeowner. He's raising his family here. So it's going to be a great conversation. That's what I try to do here. So register to vote. Get in contact with Scott Pemberton at his number, which is 508-858-6393. And also you can reach him at Pemberton 4NB 2021. Reach out to him. Say your piece. Tell him how you really feel and that you heard him on the Really Charlie podcast. See y'all tomorrow, 7 p.m. Take care.